There are places on Earth where your survival instinct should absolutely overrule your curiosity. From invisible killers lurking in beautiful landscapes to obvious death traps that still attract thrill seekers every year, these 15 deadly destinations claim hundreds of lives. Yet tourists continue to flock to them, often with fatal consequences. What makes these places so dangerous, and why do people keep risking everything just to see them? Number 15. Death Valley. This location holds the record for one of the highest temperatures ever reliably recorded on Earth. 129.9 degrees Fahrenheit, 54.4 degrees Celsius in 2021. Though an older, disputed reading of 134 degrees Fahrenheit, 56.7 degrees Celsius, from 1967-1913 still stands. The heat here is so intense that sweat evaporates rapidly, making it harder to notice dehydration until it's too late. Every year, hikers ignore warning signs and venture into this furnace unprepared, with many requiring emergency rescue and some never returning. The salt flats and barren landscape might look amazing on social media, but the extreme conditions have claimed countless lives. Even experienced explorers can find themselves in trouble when their vehicles break down, leaving them stranded in temperatures hot enough to fry an egg on the ground. What makes Death Valley truly dangerous is its unforgiving combination of extreme heat, lack of water, and deceptive distances. The valley floor sits 282 feet below sea level, creating a heat trap where temperatures regularly exceed 120 degrees in summer months. This heat can cause vehicle failures, tire blowouts, and electronic device malfunctions, cutting off communication with the outside world. The terrain is also treacherous. Seemingly solid ground can give way to soft sand that traps vehicles, and flash floods can appear without warning from distant rainstorms you never see coming. Between 2010 and 2020, at least 10 people died from heat-related causes in the park, and hundreds more suffered from severe heat illness. What's most tragic is that many of these deaths occurred within just a mile of paved roads. The park's vastness, spanning over 3.4 million acres, makes rescue operations extremely difficult and time-consuming. Death Valley is also home to mysterious moving rocks at Racetrack Playa, where boulders weighing up to 700 pounds move across the flat desert floor, leaving long trails behind them. This phenomenon remained unexplained until 2014, when scientists discovered that thin sheets of ice form on rare rainy nights, and light winds push the rocks across the slippery surface. But tourists seeking this strange sight often get lost on unmarked dirt roads. In 2009, a family's GPS led them deep into the desert on an abandoned mining route, where they were stranded for 5 days before rescue. Another danger lurks in the hundreds of abandoned mines scattered throughout the valley. Unstable shafts that can collapse without warning, some hundreds of feet deep. Park officials have documented over 10,000 mine features, many unmarked and hidden in the landscape, creating deadly pitfalls for the unwary explorer. Number 14. Mount Washington. Don't let its location in the northeastern United States fool you. This mountain has some of the most unpredictable and extreme weather on the planet. Wind speeds here once hit 231 miles per hour, nearly as strong as a Category 5 hurricane. The combination of hurricane-force winds, freezing temperatures, and sudden storms has claimed over 150 lives since records began. What makes Mount Washington so dangerous is its unique geography. Standing at 6,288 feet, it sits directly in the path of multiple storm tracks and air masses. 3 major storm tracks from the Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, and Pacific Northwest converge here, creating a perfect storm of meteorological chaos. The mountain's steep slopes force air to rise rapidly, causing dramatic weather changes in minutes rather than hours. Hikers have reported starting their trek in sunshine and 70-degree weather, only to face blizzard conditions with near zero visibility just an hour later. This unpredictability has earned Mount Washington the nickname "Home of the World's Worst Weather," a title backed by science and tragedy. The mountain's death toll includes experienced climbers and unprepared tourists alike. The deadliest incident occurred in 1969 when 6 teenagers died of exposure, not in 1994 as often claimed. The observatory staff who work at the summit live in buildings chained to the mountain to prevent them from blowing away. They use cat tracks and crawl spaces to move between structures during the worst storms, as standing upright would result in being swept off the mountain. Even today, with advanced weather forecasting and GPS technology, Mount Washington claims about 1 to 2 lives per year, proving that nature's fury can overcome even modern safety measures. Number 13. Lake Natron, Tanzania. This eerily beautiful red lake is one of the most caustic bodies of water on Earth. With a pH level of up to 10.5 and temperatures reaching 140 degrees Fahrenheit, this lake can burn human skin and turn animals into calcified statues. The water is so alkaline that it preserves the bodies of birds and animals that die in it, essentially turning them to stone. The lake's deadly properties come from its unique geology. Located in northern Tanzania's Great Rift Valley, Lake Natron sits atop a bed of sodium carbonate and other mineral deposits that continuously leach into the water. Nearby volcanic activity contributes ash-rich in sodium bicarbonate, creating a naturally occurring solution similar to industrial-strength bleach. The lake's distinctive red color comes from microorganisms called haloarchaea that thrive in these extreme conditions, along with cyanobacteria that produce red pigments to protect themselves from the intense sunlight. During dry seasons, as water evaporates, these organisms become more concentrated, turning the lake blood red, a natural warning sign most animals instinctively avoid. Despite its deadly nature, Lake Natron supports a thriving ecosystem of extremophiles and serves as the primary breeding ground for 2.5 million lesser flamingos. These birds have evolved specialized feathers and scales to protect their legs from the caustic water, feeding on the spirulina algae that flourishes in the lake's unique chemistry. For humans, however, the dangers are severe. Prolonged contact with the water causes chemical burns, and drinking it can be fatal. In 2007, a group of tourists suffered serious chemical burns after ignoring warnings and wading into the shallows to take photographs. The lake's remote location, several hours from medical facilities, compounds the danger. Even experienced researchers studying the lake's ecosystem must wear protective gear and limit exposure time to avoid injury from the water that can reach scalding temperatures during midday. Number 12. Danakil Depression, known as the Gateway to Hell. This alien landscape is one of the lowest, hottest places on the planet. Toxic gases seep from the ground, and acid pools can cause severe burns, though not all are instantly lethal. Scientists studying extremophile bacteria here must wear gas masks and protective suits just to survive the toxic air. The Danakil Depression formed where 3 tectonic plates are pulling apart, creating a landscape that resembles no other place on Earth. Sitting 410 feet below sea level, this geological wonder features volcanic activity that pushes sulfuric acid, salt, and other minerals to the surface, creating multicolored pools of bubbling toxic liquids. The area contains more than 30 active salt volcanoes and vast salt plains, where temperatures can reach 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, at the height of summer. What makes this area particularly deadly is the combination of extreme heat, toxic fumes, and isolation. Hydrogen sulfide gas released from the hot springs can cause respiratory problems, eye irritation, and even death at high concentrations. Although widely cited, there is no confirmed report of a German tourist suffering severe burns in 2012. Despite these dangers, the Danakil Depression is home to the Afar people, who have adapted to survive in this harsh environment for centuries. They mine the salt flats by hand, cutting blocks of salt and transporting them via camel caravans along ancient trade routes. a tradition dating back over 2,000 years. The Afar guides are essential for safe navigation through this treacherous terrain, as they know which areas to avoid and when conditions become too dangerous. Number 11. Snake Island, Ilha da Queimada Grande, Brazil. This island has the highest concentration of venomous snakes anywhere in the world, with some estimates suggesting one snake per 10 to 25 square meters. The golden lancehead vipers that inhabit this island are among the deadliest on Earth, with venom that can cause rapid tissue necrosis and internal bleeding. The Brazilian government has banned all visitors, except for a few scientists with special permission. Located about 25 miles off the coast of São Paulo, this 110-acre island became isolated from the mainland approximately 11,000 years ago, when rising sea levels cut it off. This isolation led to the evolution of the golden lancehead viper, Bathrops insularis, found nowhere else on Earth. These pit vipers developed particularly potent venom to kill prey instantly, as their food sources, mainly migratory birds, could easily escape if not immediately immobilized. Their venom is 5 times more powerful than that of their mainland relatives, capable of causing rapid hemorrhaging, tissue necrosis, brain damage, and kidney failure. Medical intervention must occur within hours of a bite, yet the island's remote location makes emergency evacuation nearly impossible. The last recorded incident involving lighthouse keepers in the 1920s resulted in multiple fatalities after the family was bitten while trying to escape the island. The island's deadly reputation isn't just local folklore. Scientific surveys confirm there are between 2,000 and 4,000 golden lanceheads on this small island, making it one of the deadliest places on the planet in terms of venom concentration per square foot. Black market wildlife traders risk their lives to capture these snakes, as their unique venom has potential pharmaceutical applications worth millions of dollars. A frequently cited 2014 incident involving a poacher found dead on the island with multiple bite marks remains unverified. The Brazilian Navy conducts yearly maintenance on the automated lighthouse, but personnel are required to bring anti-venom and are accompanied by medical staff during these brief visits. Researchers studying the snakes wear specialized protective gear, including high snake-proof boots and clothing, and never work alone. Despite these precautions, scientists report regularly encountering snakes in trees at head height, where a bite to the face or neck could prove fatal, even with immediate treatment. Number 10. The Blue Hole, Dahab, Egypt. This underwater sinkhole in the Red Sea has earned the ominous nickname Divers Cemetery for good reason. While some reports claim over 200 divers have died here, more conservative estimates suggest the number is closer to 130 to 150 confirmed fatalities. The deceptively beautiful blue waters hide a deadly trap that continues to claim lives despite prominent warning signs and local diving restrictions. What makes the Blue Hole so treacherous is its unique geological formation and the psychological effect it has on divers. The sinkhole descends to approximately 328 feet, 100 meters, and connects to the open sea through an underwater tunnel known as the Arch, which lies at a depth of about 170 feet, 52 meters. This depth exceeds the safe limits for recreational diving, which is typically 130 feet, 40 meters. The crystal clear waters create a dangerous optical illusion that makes the arch appear much closer than it actually is, tempting divers to venture deeper. As divers descend, they experience nitrogen narcosis, an altered mental state similar to alcohol intoxication, which impairs judgment and increases risk-taking behavior. In 2000, technical diver Yuri Lipsky died at a depth of approximately 330 feet while attempting to film the Blue Hole. His camera, recovered later, recorded his final moments as he became disoriented and sank to his death. Despite the dangers, the Blue Hole continues to attract thrill seekers and experienced divers looking to test their limits. Local authorities have implemented stricter regulations, requiring proper certification and guides for anyone attempting to dive there. The surrounding rock face is covered with memorial plaques honoring those who never resurfaced. Diving experts point to dangerous phenomena at these depths, such as nitrogen narcosis and oxygen toxicity, which can impair the brain and lead to fatal mistakes. Recovery of bodies from the deeper sections is extremely difficult and dangerous, with some remains never being retrieved. In 2017, the bodies of 3 divers who had been missing for years were finally recovered from a depth of over 300 feet by a specialized technical diving team, highlighting the ongoing dangers of this seemingly peaceful natural wonder. Number 9. Fukushima Exclusion Zone, Japan. Following the 2011 earthquake and tsunami that triggered one of the worst nuclear disasters in history, this once thriving area became a radioactive ghost town. The meltdown of 3 reactors at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant released radioactive materials into the atmosphere, contaminating an area of more than 440 square miles. Despite ongoing decontamination efforts, parts of this zone remain unsafe and will be for decades to come. The invisible danger in Fukushima lies in the radioactive isotopes that contaminated the soil, water, and buildings. Cesium-137, with a half-life of 30 years, and strontium-90, with a half-life of 29 years, remain the primary concerns for human health. Exposure to these isotopes can lead to radiation sickness, increased cancer risk, and genetic damage that can affect future generations. The Japanese government has designated areas based on radiation levels. Some regions may never be habitable again, while others have been partially reopened as cleanup efforts progress. In 2015, a group of urban explorers illegally entered the highest radiation zones and reported finding radiation levels up to 30 times higher than normal background radiation. While one member later developed unusual health issues, there is no confirmed direct link to radiation exposure. Today, parts of the exclusion zone present an eerie time capsule of the moment disaster struck. Abandoned homes still contain family photos and personal belongings, while clocks remain frozen at 2:46 p.m., the moment the earthquake hit. Some former residents risk illegal visits to their homes, driven by emotional connections to their past lives. The exclusion zone has also become a unique biological laboratory, where scientists study how wildlife adapts to radiation exposure. Researchers have documented higher mutation rates in butterflies and birds, while populations of some species have unexpectedly thrived in the absence of human activity. While limited tours are now permitted in decontaminated areas, visitors must wear protective gear and carry dosimeters to monitor radiation exposure. The greatest danger comes from radioactive particles in dust or soil that can be inhaled or ingested, potentially causing internal radiation damage that continues long after leaving the zone. Number 8. Lake Karachay, Russia. Once described by the World Watch Institute as the most polluted spot on Earth, this small lake in the southern Ural Mountains contained enough radioactive material in the past to kill a human with just 1 hour of exposure at its shoreline. For decades, the Soviet Union used this lake as a dumping ground for nuclear waste from the nearby Mayak Production Association, one of the country's largest nuclear facilities. The contamination of Lake Karachay began in 1951 when the Soviet government, racing to develop nuclear weapons during the Cold War, began directly discharging radioactive waste into the lake. By the 1990s, scientists estimated that the lake contained about 4.44 exabecquerels of radioactivity, including long-lived isotopes like cesium-137 and strontium-90. The radiation levels were so extreme that in some areas, standing near the shore for just 1 hour would deliver a lethal dose of 600 Roentgens. The dangers extended beyond direct exposure when a drought in 1968 caused the lake's water level to drop, exposing radioactive sediment. Winds carried this contaminated dust over an area of 900 square miles, though most residents received lower doses than those seen in the Chernobyl disaster. Recognizing the catastrophic environmental threat, Russian authorities began a massive operation in the 1980s to fill the lake with concrete blocks and soil. By 2015, the lake had been completely covered, transforming it into a solid concrete waste site. However, experts warn that the danger hasn't been eliminated, only contained. The concrete cap prevents further atmospheric contamination, but doesn't address the underground migration of radioactive materials. Groundwater contamination remains a serious concern, as radioactive substances continue to seep into the Tika River system, which eventually flows into the Arctic Ocean. Scientists monitoring the site estimate that the area will remain dangerously radioactive for thousands of years, making it one of the most permanently contaminated places on Earth. Despite being officially closed to the public, unauthorized access remains a lethal risk for those who ignore warnings. Number 7. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. This fiery crater in the middle of the Karakum Desert has been burning continuously for over 50 years. Created when Soviet geologists accidentally collapsed a natural gas cavern. While drilling in 1971, engineers decided to set the gas on fire to prevent it from spreading, expecting it to burn out in a few weeks. 5 decades later, the flames still rage, creating one of the most spectacular and dangerous geological features on the planet. The Darvaza gas crater, as it's officially known, measures approximately 230 feet in diameter and 65 feet deep, producing temperatures that reach up to 1,830 degrees Fahrenheit, 1,000 degrees Celsius in its center. The crater releases large amounts of methane gas, which is toxic in high concentrations and can cause asphyxiation. The unstable terrain surrounding the crater presents additional dangers as the ground has been structurally weakened by the intense heat. In 2013, explorer George Kourounis became the first person to descend into the crater, wearing a heat-resistant suit and breathing apparatus. He reported that the walls were unstable and crumbling, with jets of flame erupting unpredictably from new gas pockets. While several tourists have reported injuries near the edge, there are no verified deaths from collapse. Despite its dangers, the Door to Hell has become Turkmenistan's most famous tourist attraction, drawing visitors to this otherwise remote area. The government has established a safety perimeter, but enforcement is minimal, and the site lacks proper barriers or warning systems. At night, the crater's glow attracts deadly desert insects and scorpions, creating additional hazards for campers who set up too close. The environmental impact is substantial, with the crater releasing an estimated 35,000 to 40,000 cubic meters of natural gas daily, contributing significantly to greenhouse gas emissions. In 2010, the president of Turkmenistan ordered the crater to be closed and filled, citing environmental concerns and the waste of valuable natural gas resources. However, these plans were never implemented, and the inferno continues to burn, with experts suggesting it could continue for many more decades, given the vast gas reserves feeding the flames. Number 6. Valley of Death, Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia. This remote valley, nestled within the Kranotsky Nature Reserve, contains such high concentrations of toxic gases that birds and small mammals that fly into it often drop dead within minutes. Discovered in 1975 by scientist Vladimir Leonov, who noticed the valley floor was littered with animal carcasses. This 2-kilometer-long geothermal basin releases lethal cocktails of hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, and other volcanic gases that can be fatal in high concentrations. The Valley of Death's deadly properties come from its unique geological position within the Uzon caldera, an ancient volcanic crater formed about 40,000 years ago. The valley contains numerous fumaroles, vents in the Earth's crust that release volcanic gases, with concentrations of hydrogen sulfide reaching up to 500 to 700 parts per million, well above the 100 ppm threshold that can cause immediate respiratory paralysis and death in humans. What makes this area particularly treacherous is that the toxic gases are heavier than air, creating invisible deadly layers that pool in depressions and low-lying areas. During calm weather conditions, these gas pools can reach concentrations high enough to kill within minutes of exposure. Although often repeated, the 1983 story of 2 volcanologists being rescued from the valley is unverified. Scientists studying the valley must wear specialized gas masks and protective gear, and strict time limits are enforced for research expeditions. Despite these precautions, the valley continues to pose serious risks. The bizarre juxtaposition of beautiful scenery against lethal, invisible danger makes it particularly hazardous for tourists who stray from designated safe viewing areas. The valley's floor is often covered with preserved animal remains, birds, foxes, and even bears, their bodies mummified by the mineral-rich environment, rather than decomposing normally. While hikers have suffered respiratory distress here, the widely circulated 2017 fatality report is unverified. The Russian government has since implemented stricter access controls, but the isolated location makes enforcement challenging, and the deadly gases continue to accumulate, creating one of nature's most perfectly designed death traps. Number 5. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. Carved into the side of the Bolivian Andes in the 1930s, this 43-mile stretch has earned its nickname Death Road by claiming an estimated 200 to 300 lives annually during its peak period of danger. Dropping from 15,400 feet at La Paz to 3,900 feet at Coroico, this single-lane dirt path features 3,000-foot cliffs with no guardrails, blind corners, and is frequently obscured by rain and fog. For decades, it was the only route connecting La Paz to the Amazon rainforest region. What makes Death Road particularly treacherous is the combination of natural hazards and unusual traffic rules. Unlike the rest of Bolivia, vehicles drive on the left side, putting the driver's seat on the cliff edge side, supposedly to help drivers better judge distances from the precipice. During the rainy season from November to March, the road turns into a muddy slide with frequent landslides and falling rocks. The narrow path, often only 10 feet wide, forces vehicles to perform dangerous passing maneuvers, sometimes requiring one vehicle to back up to a wider section. In 1995, the Inter-American Development Bank named it the world's most dangerous road, after documenting that it claimed the lives of 200 to 300 travelers annually. One of the worst incidents occurred in 1983 when a bus plunged off the edge, killing more than 100 passengers in a single accident. Despite the construction of a modern alternative highway in 2006, which diverted most traffic from the original route, North Yungas Road remains deadly. But for a different reason. It has become a popular tourist attraction for thrill-seeking mountain bikers, with thousands of adventurers paying to cycle down the road each year. While safety standards for tour operators have improved, accidents and fatalities continue to occur. Between 1998 and 2015, it is claimed that at least 18 cyclists died on the route. The most common accidents happen when riders lose control on loose gravel or become disoriented in sudden fog banks. Memorials and crosses dot the roadside, marking spots where vehicles and cyclists have plunged over the edge. Local drivers who still use the road out of necessity perform rituals for protection, including pouring alcohol on their vehicle's tires as offerings to Pachamama, the Andean earth goddess, before attempting the journey. Number 4. Erta Ale Volcano, Ethiopia. Nicknamed the Gateway to Hell by local Afar people, this continuously active basaltic shield volcano contains one of only 6 permanent lava lakes on Earth. With temperatures reaching 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, 1,000 degrees Celsius, its bubbling lava presents an immediate danger, while toxic sulfur dioxide fumes can silently kill anyone who lingers too long at the crater's edge. Located in the remote Danakil Depression, it's one of the most inaccessible active volcanoes in the world. The volcano's primary hazard isn't just its molten lake, but its unpredictability. Erta Ale frequently experiences sudden explosive events called spattering, where gas bubbles burst through the lava crust, sending molten rock flying up to 100 feet in the air. While there are many stories, there is no verified account of a German tourist suffering severe burns in 2012. The volcano's thin crust around the rim is another deadly risk, as it can collapse without warning, plunging visitors into the magma below. The journey to Erta Ale itself is treacherous, requiring a multi-day trek through one of the hottest regions on Earth, with temperatures often exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 49 degrees Celsius. The remote location means emergency evacuations are nearly impossible, with the nearest hospital being several days' journey away. Political instability adds another layer of danger to this already perilous destination. The volcano sits in a region contested by Ethiopia and Eritrea, with armed conflicts occurring periodically. In 2012, 5 tourists were killed and 4 others kidnapped in an attack that occurred near the Danakil region, though not directly at the volcano. Though security has improved in recent years, the area remains volatile. Scientists monitoring the volcano must employ armed guards and coordinate with local tribal leaders for safe passage. Despite these risks, Erta Ale continues to attract volcanologists and adventure tourists willing to face extreme conditions for a glimpse of one of nature's most spectacular displays. Those who have survived the trek describe watching the hypnotic movement of the lava lake at night as a life-changing experience. Though the idea that people are hypnotized into walking into the lava is folklore, not science. Number 3. Boiling Lake, Dominica. This flooded fumarole filled with bubbling grayish-blue water is the second largest hot lake in the world, measuring approximately 200 feet across. With water temperatures ranging from 180 to 197 degrees Fahrenheit, 82 to 92 degrees Celsius, at the edges and reaching the boiling point of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius at its center. Falling into this lake means certain death. A perpetual cloud of steam rises from the surface, creating dangerous conditions where visibility can drop to 0 in seconds. The lake sits in a natural basin within the Morne Trois Pitons National Park, formed when a crack in the Earth's crust allows rainwater to seep down to the hot rocks below, where it's heated by magma and forced back to the surface. The journey to reach the lake is itself treacherous, requiring a strenuous 3-hour hike through dense rainforest and steep ravines known as the Valley of Desolation. This aptly named valley contains numerous smaller fumaroles, boiling mud pots, and streams hot enough to cause third-degree burns instantly. In 1901, 2 hikers died when they ventured too close to the lake's unstable edge, which collapsed beneath them. More recently, in 2007, a local guide slipped and suffered severe burns from briefly contacting the water, requiring emergency evacuation. But he survived and recovered, contrary to reports of extended hospitalization. What makes Boiling Lake particularly dangerous is its unpredictable nature. The lake has been known to drain and refill suddenly, with dramatic fluctuations in water level and temperature. In 1988, and again in 2004, the lake temporarily stopped boiling and partially drained, creating a false sense of safety. When it refilled and resumed boiling, several visitors were caught by surprise by the rapidly changing conditions. The surrounding rocks are often unstable and weakened by constant exposure to acidic steam, creating treacherous footing around the rim. In heavy rains, which are common in this tropical location, landslides can occur without warning. Despite these dangers, the lake has no permanent safety barriers, and visitors are expected to rely on guides' knowledge to stay safe. Local authorities have resisted installing permanent infrastructure to preserve the natural environment, and because the corrosive conditions would quickly destroy any man-made structures. Number 2. Mount Merapi, Indonesia. One of the most active and dangerous volcanoes in the world, Mount Merapi has erupted regularly since 1548, claiming thousands of lives throughout its violent history. The name literally means mountain of fire in Javanese, and it's earned this title with over 30 major eruptions in the past century alone. Located near the densely populated city of Yogyakarta, this volcano places nearly 500,000 people within its potential impact zone. What makes Merapi particularly lethal is its propensity for creating pyroclastic flows, superheated clouds of gas, ash, and rock that can travel at speeds exceeding 60 miles per hour, 100 kilometers per hour, and reach temperatures of 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, 1,000 degrees Celsius. These flows are virtually unsurvivable and can travel up to 9 miles, 15 kilometers, from the crater. During the 2010 eruption, pyroclastic flows traveled farther than expected, catching evacuation centers off guard and killing 353 people, while forcing the evacuation of 350,000 residents. The volcano's steep slopes also create dangerous lahar flows, mud flows of volcanic material mixed with rainwater, that can destroy villages miles from the eruption zone. The 1994 eruption was deadly, but the American volcanologist Stanley Williams was actually injured in a separate eruption at Galeras, Colombia, not at Merapi. Despite its deadly history, thousands of people continue to live on Merapi's fertile slopes, drawn by the rich volcanic soil that produces abundant crops. Many residents follow traditional Javanese beliefs that view the mountain as sacred, with some refusing to evacuate during eruptions due to spiritual connections to their land. The mountain's cultural significance is exemplified by the role of the Juru Kunci, or key keeper, a spiritual guardian appointed by the royal court of Yogyakarta to perform ritual offerings, to appease the volcano's spirits. In 2010, the longtime Juru Kunci, Mbah Marajan, refused to leave his home during a major eruption and was killed, becoming a symbol of both devotion and the life-threatening risks of living in Merapi's shadow. Indonesian authorities have established an extensive monitoring system with evacuation protocols, but the volcano's ability to produce unexpected explosive eruptions continues to make it one of the most dangerous natural features on Earth. Number 1. The Skeleton Coast, Namibia. Named by Portuguese sailors as the Gates of Hell, and by local bushmen as the land God made in anger, this treacherous 300-mile stretch of Atlantic coastline has claimed countless ships and lives. Dense fog, violent storms, and powerful currents combine with the harsh desert environment to create what many maritime experts consider the most dangerous coastline in the world. The area is littered with the skeletal remains of over 1,000 shipwrecks, though many are minor vessels. What makes the Skeleton Coast truly deadly is the perfect storm of geographical features that turn survival into an almost impossible task. The cold Benguela current collides with the hot desert air, creating dense fog banks that can reduce visibility to near zero for over 180 days per year. These conditions, combined with submerged rocks and strong unpredictable currents, have wrecked vessels from ancient Portuguese galleons to modern fishing trawlers. For those who survive the initial shipwreck, the real nightmare begins on shore. The coastline borders the Namib Desert, one of the oldest and driest deserts on Earth, with virtually no freshwater sources. Survivors who make it to land face scorching temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius during the day, dropping to near freezing at night. In 1943, the British vessel Dunedin Star ran aground, stranding 106 passengers and crew. Despite a massive rescue effort, several people died during the 2-week ordeal, though no rescue aircraft were lost in the operation. The dangerous conditions extend beyond the physical environment to the wildlife that inhabits it. The waters offshore contain large populations of sharks, including some attracted to seal colonies, though great white encounters near the shoreline are rare. On land, the desert hosts lions specially adapted to the harsh environment, known as desert lions. They are not necessarily larger or more aggressive, but have adapted their hunting and survival strategies to desert life. In 2013, a group of tourists became stranded when their vehicle broke down in the remote northern section. Within 48 hours, 2 members of the party had died from dehydration before rescue helicopters could locate them. Today, the northern section remains largely restricted, with access limited to guided fly-in safaris, while the southern portion is more accessible but still claims lives regularly. Local tour guides tell of finding human skeletons among the shipwrecks, the remains of sailors who survived the ocean only to perish in the desert, a grim reminder of why this coast earned its macabre name. These 15 deadly locations reveal how thin the line is between adventure and disaster, with each site continuing to claim lives despite warnings. Scientists studying these extreme environments have discovered organisms thriving in conditions once thought impossible for life, raising questions about what else might survive in places humans can't. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of these deadly destinations is how they continue to attract visitors, drawing people toward danger with an almost supernatural pull that overrides our basic survival instincts. The next time you're planning that perfect vacation photo for social media, remember that some landscapes keep their deadliest secrets hidden until it's too late. If you enjoyed this video, click on the next video shown on screen to learn more Did You Know Facts.